Hello YouTube. What you see here in front of you, well you can probably tell, are two iMac G3s. They're both made around the year 2000, not exactly sure when. And the two machines you see right here, on the left is a Graphite 400 MHz model, and on the right is an Indigo 500 MHz model. The story behind these machines is, we pretty much saw an ad online for 3 iMac G3s. 2 were in working condition, they said, and they were pickup only, and you know, they were just standing there in that locker, so we're like, you know, let's just go over and pick them up and see if we can make something out of them. So that's what we did. So like I said, the one on the left is an iMac Graphite 400 MHz. Very interesting little machine. The one on the right is an Indigo 500 MHz. Hard drives are pretty much stock. I changed one on the right in the Indigo because that's the iMac that I chose to keep. The Graphite is going because it has some issues with its CRT. It does seem to work fine most of the time, but sometimes it's quite a scary little flicker that it does. But the Indigo is just fine. It has 30 gig hard drive at this moment. The Graphite still has the original 13 gig drive. Oddly enough, the iMac on the right actually was shipped with a 20 gig Seagate drive, while the iMac on the left, the Graphite, was shipped with a 13 gig Mac store. I believe most of the iMac G3s always came with fireballs, but made by Quantum. So I suppose they still have some Quantum pedigree in them, if you want to call it that. But yeah, they're both slot loading models. The Graphite has a DVD drive, the Indigo has a CD drive. I did not really feel like messing with these machines so much that I could actually swap out the optical drives. It's a pretty easy process, that's for sure, but I really didn't feel like opening up another iMac. These aren't actually the most fun machines to work with, especially the screws that hold on the shielding plate, because you can barely reach them if you have big hands like me. So that's very annoying, but other than that, they're great little machines. CRT on the Indigo is in pretty good condition overall. It's not bad by any means. In terms of ports, they're all the same. I'll take out the Graphite to show you what kind of ports we have. As you can see, we have 3.5mm jack there, dual Firewire 400, modem, reset button, programmer button, USB 1.1 ports, and Ethernet. And on the back there's a VGA port as well. And one amazing thing about these machines is, of course, the speakers. They sound absolutely excellent for a machine that's pretty much 15 years old by now. So that's very nice. So what kind of operating systems are these running? They're both running pretty much an identical configuration. They both have macOS 9.2.2, which is the last version they released. And they're also both running OS 10 10.2.8 Jaguar. You might wonder, why did you put Jaguar on them? Well, my OS 9 install died on one of them, actually on the Indigo, and I had to reinstall. And I didn't have a bootable OS 9 installer, so I just put OS 10 on it and then installed OS 9 via Classic. That worked just fine. Because I do have OS 9 CDs laying around, but they're not bootable. So there's that. So, let's fire them up. And see if they do anything at all today. Alright, they're both booted up now. You can tell that the Indigo is actually in use and the Graphite is not, because the Graphite just has all the basic software that comes with OS 9 9.2.2. So nothing special at all. But other than that, they're pretty much identical. They have the same GPU, they have pretty much the same processor architecture, but the installs are pretty much the same. It's just a matter of what's on them. So let's go into the system profiler here. Let's do it as well on the other machine. There we go. Let's take a quick look at iMac number 1, the Graphite. 922. It has QuickTime 5 installed. Disk has 6 megs of cache, has 192 megabytes of memory. 8 megs video memory for the ATI Rage 128 Pro. PowerPC G3 400 MHz CPU. Let's take a look at the hard drive. There you go. It's a MaxStar drive, 13 gigs. And there's nothing else there that is noteworthy. Here on this machine, we have QuickTime 6, 500 MHz PowerPC G3, also 8 megs video memory. Drive has some more cache, 8 megs, and this machine has 384 megabytes of RAM. That's as much as I could put in it without spending money, so let's take a look at this hard drive. This is a Western Digital 30 gig. I still have the original 20 gig Seagate though. Looks like this. Actually has this rubber thing wrapped around it to make it vibrate less. This is still one of those old design Seagates. It's a really old drive. I think these drives looked absolutely awesome. But yeah, the main problem with this drive is it's loud as all hell. And as you may know, the iMac G3 is cooled passively. There is no fan in this machine whatsoever. So the only thing you'll hear all the time is a hard drive. So it might be worth it if you have an older iMac to just swap it out for an SSD. Just go like, well, it's desktop IDE, so it shouldn't be too hard. Just get it converted to mSATA or even to frickin' 2.5-inch SATA. And just slap an SSD in there. It's possible. But yeah, take a look at those beautiful 1024 by 768 displays, running at 640, 480. But yeah, the CRT on the Graphite is still in worse condition than the one of the Indigo. Both the optical drives are working fine though, after all these years. So that's nice. And the main thing I love about running OS 9 is this. Wait for it. Boom. And it's off. It's pretty much instantaneous. And it's off. So, that was a little video about the two iMac G3s that I have here. Hope you'll enjoy this video, and I thank you all for watching.